CloudFrame was founded in 2017, focusing on COBOL to Java transformation, and first customer was Verizon in 2018. Along with Venkat, our other leadership includes 20 to 30-year vets of mainframe Fortune 100 organizations, as well as mainframe technology companies such as Software AG. Our customers tend to be large organizations with critical and complex mainframe deployments, taking on large-scale and frequently high-profile modernization initiatives. Our company's focus remains on mainframe application modernization software. Our primary offering is the CloudFrame Modernization Suite, which we'll be discussing and showing today. The Modernization Suite provides comprehensive reverse engineering of your current mainframe assets to drive deep understanding, including business intent and data lineage and more. The Modernization Suite also drives high-velocity, confident transformation of COBOL to highly performant, functionally equivalent Java, all delivered automatically.
CloudFrame Modernization Suite contains two products. One is Atlas and one is Code Navigator. Atlas is for the people who are looking for their legacy code and exploring what's in there, discovering what's in there. Atlas is going to ingest all your mainframe artifacts and try to figure out the technical dependency, data lineages, system dependency across the system. But more importantly, it has a unique ability to look at the legacy code fragments and figure out a business intent out of it. So it can relate the code fragment with the business functionality, and it does it all over your system. That helps you do a semantic searches and natural language query on anything on your system. And this is where the AI SME comes into the picture, and it's great. It's better than a human subject matter expert can provide information to you. This is where the customers are looking to extend the life of their mainframe, trying to retain things on the mainframe, or even if they're trying to rewrite everything, they need to understand what's available on the mainframe, what's the calculation done. The more important part is Atlas is having an accuracy. It guarantees 100% accuracy. And the reason it can do it, even when using GenAI, is not using GenAI for everything. It has domain-specific agents. It's using machine learning algorithms and lots of deterministic patterns that it has learned over a period of time. So it can infer the business intent, figure out the business functionality, create a knowledge graph. And once the knowledge graph is created, which is 100% accurate, then uses GenAI to answer whatever you want. So it's using a combination of GenAI and its own domain-specific knowledge to give you 100% accurate answer. That's a big part of it, and that's a big differentiator. Coming to the next product, Code Navigator, which then leverages information that it has, all the Atlas has created, uses the knowledge graph and everything that Atlas has created. And on top of it, it then creates a Java code. So it can take your legacy and convert it to Java. It's going to be 100% guaranteed to be functionally equivalent and numerically precise, because it's not only looking at your source code, but it's also looking at what COBOL compiler you used, what versions, what options you used. The Java that comes out is maintainable code. It's not COBOL. You can deploy it anywhere. And more importantly, the code is yours. There is no vendor lock-in. So next thing I'm going to do is start a demo of Atlas and Code Navigator. I'm going to show you how it can ingest the mainframe artifacts, guide you through, the wizard will guide you through if there is anything missing. It'll demonstrate an accurate knowledge graph that's created out of it, the deep analysis that it does, show AI SME capability that can outperform human SME, and then automatically classify, categorize your business artifacts into a particular domain, which is helpful not only for understanding the context and answer you better, but also for creating a Java code if you decide to go any further into Code Navigator, because the Java code will be packaged properly based on the domain, and it will create much better Java quality code. So getting into the demo, the Code Navigator and Atlas product is deployed on-prem on the customer's environment, so you never have any data living outside your firewall. It requires a simple Linux box. It's a centralized server. It doesn't require any specific graphic cards or anything. It relies on an external LLM and GenAI for AI functionality. But more importantly, it has an accurate knowledge graph, and that's why the dependency on LLM is very limited. Once you have deployed the server, you can access it from anywhere using a browser. Your system administrator will come in a department based on different various functionality or within your organization, how you divide app into. So I'm going to take an application which is a currency trading application. So my administrator has created a department called currency trading. Me, Venkat, has logged in as a department admin. Right now, when I look at this application, there is nothing available, no classified and unclassified. I will start the assessment. Once I click the button Start Assessment, the screen pops up, which is divided into two parts. The one on the right is mostly using machine learning algorithms and deterministic logic to create a knowledge graph. It will use Gen AI to some extent for certain things, but in order to guarantee accuracy, it leverages mostly deterministic model. And when it thinks that it can use Gen AI without compromising the accuracy, it will make the determination internally. The AI SME, that is completely relying on Gen AI. It leverages the knowledge graph that was created by Atlas and combines them together to answer anything that you want. And I can give you a few more examples of those, what you can do with this. For now, because we haven't created a knowledge graph, the agent, the AI SME is not active. Many a time, collecting a mainframe artifacts is also a problem because you can either take all your source code, copybook, everything, convert it into ASCII, download, zip it them, and upload it here. That's one option. I have seen there is a 1% or maybe higher probability that you might have a hard-coded value inside your COBOL program with a hexadecimal ABCDIC value hard-coded as a value clause. That's the case. We generally prefer, because we guarantee 100% accuracy, we prefer you bring everything in ABCDIC format. And in order to do it, the wizard guides you through, and it will create a JCL for you to then download all the artifacts from the mainframe, give this JCL to your mainframe person, provide all the JCL libraries and compiler listing and the control cards, and it will generate the JCL that when you run on a mainframe will extract all the artifacts in ABCDIC and download it. For the demo purposes, I have already downloaded all the artifacts. So that's what I'm going to do. The application we briefly talked about is a currency trading application. Right now it's a batch, it's running in a batch mode. It's a simple application, but yet a very practical application. So you can have a buyer, somebody wants to buy 100 Canadian dollars and somebody wants to sell 100 Canadian dollars. Now the system will go in, it will do all the acceptance, make sure the orders are right, maybe the buyers and sellers have accounts right, they have enough money, can be exchanged. And once the matching is done, the order is then accepted, and then it's given to settlement process, and eventually it gets reported. So all the exception reporting, settlement reporting, and the rejection reporting, everything else is done as part of this process. So I'm going to click attach. It's going to show me all the artifacts that I have downloaded. If I miss anything, the wizard will guide me through and point me. So it will make sure 100% resolution happens during this process. For now, in the interest of time, I will take a JCL. Now, obviously, JCL will need a PROC. PROC will need a control card, for example, DF sort, IDCAM utilities, or anything else. I'm using a compiler listing because in order to get you an accurate analysis, it needs to know what COBOL version you used, what compiler option you use. It's not mandatory. It's always preferable to provide a compiler option, at least in the version. If you provide and do not provide the compiler listing, you can provide the source, the copybook, declgen, and everything else. Like I said, compiler listing is preferred, and that's what I'm going to use in the demo. I click open. It does initial validation just to make sure the files are right. All the procs are procs, JCLs are JCLs, control cards are okay, and things like that, just initial validation. I'll click the button proceed. It will then throw things to the server. At this time, the server is doing a huge amount of analysis. It's not only figuring out all the technical dependency, the call chain, which JCL call, which proc, which control card, which program calls another program, and things like that. But it's also trying to figure out a business intent behind why things were done the way. It also runs a simulated data all the way as if it's running in production from JCL top to bottom. It creates its own synthetic data. The advantage of doing that, it can then figure out the dead code, unused variables, or anything that's unnecessary. It also has a better understanding. Now, if it has a doubt, it will throw you this warning screen. It's possible that you may have a program missing, you may have forgotten a JCL, you may have something else looking at the dependency, and the wizard will keep iterating until it's 100% comfortable. You can tell wizard what to do with it. You can give it more information. You can ignore it. It's up to you. In this case, it doesn't have any problem. It just has the metadata problem, which you can ask it to generate a metadata JCL, give it to your mainframe person who can run. There is a vsem file, and it's not sure if it's KSDS, what's the key length. It doesn't know whether it's fixed block and things like that. You can manually resolve it, or you can ignore it. For this demo, I'm going to ignore it because for showing you the business intent, it's not going to make a difference. I'm going to click Save and Continue. The first thing it does, it gives you a report. It says, okay, I collected 100% of the information that I was looking for. There's nothing missing. It has counts and amounts, how many lines, how many JCL, how many PROCs, how many control cards. For each one of those JCL, it then shows you a graph. In this one is a simple JCL, has one step, which calls one program, that program called another 3 program. But those 3 programs are not straight call. They are dynamically called because it has done a simulated run. It has figured it out. In case if it's not able to figure it out because the program names are coming from some database or vsem, the wizard will guide you through and ask you all those information. And until it is satisfied, it's not going to go further. It will then also show what languages were used, what programs were used, whether they're Kix, MQ, DB2. Each one of those programs, obviously, you can see if it calls another program, call chain list, it could be any level of complication. Also, the counts and amounts, lines of codes, comments, SQLs, file information, all the files used, whether they were KSDS, fixed block, variable block, whether they are VB, VBS, fixed FBA, and things like that. Whether they were input, output, how they are used, which program is using. A database CRUD metrics. One on the column are tables. So one on the row shows you all the program and how those programs are reading, writing, updating, deleting, and things like that. Cyclomatic complexity, if MQ is used, what APIs were used, if CICS is used, what CICS functions was used. So these are all technical information. But more importantly, the knowledge graph is ready. And knowledge graph can provide a lot of information. So let me just give you a few examples of what you could do. Having a knowledge graph allows you to then ask any question you want, which is very human-like. For example, you can say, tell me how interest is calculated in this application. Or tell me how sales tax is computed. It's going to look at system-wide, figure out all the programs, give you code fragments, and all the information available across. Data lineages are very important. For example, account balance. Tell me how account balance is used, which downstream, which program is using it, and columns and the files. You can also use it for traceability. You can do any amount of natural language query. So you can, for example, tell me a data lineage for program TRD PV000. That's one example. It's going to then figure out how the data is lineage is calculated inside this program. Remove all the noise because programs can have when the file open reads, if it fails, if open fails, if close fails, if database SQL is not right, you have a -911 or deadlock or whatever those things. It just gives you a business level, high level functionality by removing all those big noise and gives you a summary. It can actually give you detail if you ask for it. It can generate a BRD and other things for you. So in this example, this program, which I asked for data lineage, inserts into table. Uses Gen AI, tries to figure out the name is a settlement queue, must be settlement queue table. But then of course it depends on the taxonomy and you can teach it, you can train it, it can get better. It then found out the working storage variable is the one that's inserting into the table. That working storage variable is moved from a DB2 Tickelgen variable, which then comes from exchange, buyer ID, order ID, seller, order quantity, seller ID, currency, their account numbers, and all other details. You can also find out more detail. For example, how exchange is calculated. Somewhere in the program, there is an evaluate statement, which looks at the currency that's passed as a parameter. And based on the currency, you decide how the exchange is calculated. Buyer ID is coming from a cursor. This is how the buyer ID originated. So it's very useful to then ask any question and answer across your system like a human SME, in fact, better than a human SME. What's also important is to go further and categorize this application. So I'm going to go here on the top, click categorize. You can also upload your own artifacts if you have, like, for example, SMF reports. Most of the time, people have acronyms. For example, all the COBOL programs starting with TRD belongs to trading application. All the programs starting with MST will belong to a master data application, and so on and so forth. If you upload those acronyms, it will be really helpful. More information you give it, better it will become. And like I said, you can also train this. There is another training section of the chatbot where it's going to ask you curiosity question based on what it has seen and what it feels there is a missing gap. Completely optional information if your SME can provide it. It has better understanding of your system. So now I'm going to click analyze. Based on whatever it has seen, it's going to use Gen AI, and it's going to also automatically categorize your mainframe program into this category. Here it found 4 categories: acceptance, settlement, reporting, and anything that belongs to more than one category or domain. It puts it under the common module. Under acceptance, it found 10 JCLs. If you click on a JCL, it found a program. That program calls another program, and entire call chain list will be shown over here. Now, this may be slightly wrong. This may be 100% right. This may be, you may want to make changes. If everything is right, you can publish it. But if you want to make a changes, you click edit. It allows you to make changes. I'll collapse the chatbot, drag and drop into the canvas. You can add more categories, or if you feel this JCL, for example, and all its related call chain artifacts are not part of acceptance, you can move it into a common module. I'm just giving an example. It's just a hypothetical example. And you can save the changes. It shows you what it suggested and what you have done. So once you have done it, you can publish the changes. It has now created 4 applications: acceptance, settlement, reporting, and common module, or anything else that you made changes to. This will help it get a better context. Say, for example, you have a card number. Is it a debit card number? Is it a credit card number? If it's a DMV-based application, is it a driver's license card, or is it a AAA card? So the context is very important. Understanding all this and categorizing it right helps it, gives you a better answer. Now, Atlas becomes your go-to place for any of your discovery question because the knowledge graph is accurate. Some customers stop at this point, and some customers decide that they want to go further and generate a Java code out of it. And again, Java code is 100% accurate. It's your choice. You can use it 100%. Some people use it at 70-20-10 ratio, where they use 70% of the code belongs to expense category. Means it's not really core to the business because you have a FINRA requirement, SEC requirement, compliance, audit, risk. Your customer is not asking, but your regulators are asking. It's an expense to the business. Maybe you just leave it, convert it to Java, run it in a container in any hybrid in your Linux platform or within your VPC or in a cloud or wherever you want to run it. One option. 20%, because the generated Java code had layers, you just want to change few layers. Maybe you want to change business layer, maybe you want to change data layer. And 10% of the code, maybe you want to rewrite it. So it's really up to you how you want to use it. So I'm going to take this reporting application, show you how this can be converted into Java. I'm going to click edit application, decide I'm going to start converting into Java and start testing it. It's going to take me a week. It's mostly for your project manager to see the progress, which projects are in conversion state and what's the state, how many are tested, how many testing failed, and things like that. Here I made Venkat as the lead for this one. Click next. There is no other dependency. Click update. It then takes you to the rule setting. Now, the rules are an important part of it. The code generator is going to generate 100% automated code out of box. But many customers say, I want certain customization. And those customizations are done through rule. And this is where the rules are set up. Now, there are part of rules that Code Navigator is shipped with. For example, you can dictionary rules, you can create your own dictionary, or it has created dictionary based on what it thought using GenAI and predefined dictionary, but you can change it. You can change the data layer rule. For example, you want to change all your DB2 calls to Postgres or Oracle. Sonar Cube rules, you can create manually custom rules, or CloudFrame can help you create one. You can use GenAI to create those rules. But once those rules are done, it's a one-time work. But then going forward, all your application that uses a similar pattern will go through the same rule transformation, and it's 100% automation customized for your environment. So now after applying the rule, I'm gonna go back and click on transform. So here are my JCL. I can look at trade reporting application, for example. It has 2 steps. It deletes a file, runs a program, which generates a report, trading report. I can click this button. It does all the code generation. It then compiles the code, make sure everything is okay, does an aggregation, does a packaging and bundling, and then code is ready. Now you have few options. Once the code is ready, you see the test chevron is empty right now. You can go into the testing mode, or you can also deploy it. And the deployment will be your deployment, maybe Bitbucket, GitHub, wherever you want to deploy it. You can also download this code and run it manually in your IntelliJ, Eclipse, or wherever you want to run it. It's a Maven package or a Gradle package, depending on how your administrator has set it. So that's just a very high level demo of what Atlas and Code Navigator can do for you.